Hello, my name is Ashlynn Harris, and the title of my capstone project is Let's Break It Down: Barriers and Benefits of Community-Based Composting. My faculty advisor for this project was University of Washington POE Professor Eli Wheat, and my site supervisor was Lena Nicholson with the City of Camas. And with that, let's get into my presentation. As many of you may be aware of, food waste is a major issue here in the United States. We actually waste nearly 50% of our food supply, or over 130 billion pounds of food every single year. Most of this food ends up in landfills, such as the one we see here in Figure 1. Here, food waste undergoes anaerobic decomposition, meaning it breaks down without oxygen and produces a potent and infamous greenhouse gas, methane. A variety of waste diversion strategies have been studied and implemented to aid in diverting food waste from landfills and decrease subsequent greenhouse gas emissions, the primary method of which is composting. Composting both diverts food waste from landfills and produces a highly valuable nutrient-dense soil additive that acts as an environmentally friendly fertilizer. While large-scale composting systems help to divert food waste from landfills, these industrialized systems can also reduce local influence and produce additional emissions through transportation and treatment processes. A smaller scale alternative, called community-based composting, can offer programs that both lower emissions and localize related benefits. Inspired by the potential of community-based composting, I wanted to explore what developing one of these programs entails, as well as what key benefits exist for the communities involved. So, for my research, I decided to ask the question, what barriers and benefits exist in the development and implementation stages of community composting programs? This summer, I was selected for the position of Sustainability and Outreach Intern for the City of Camas's Farmers Market, which you can see here in Figure 2. As part of my internship, I was tasked to start a community-based sustainable compost collection program for Camas residents. Alongside my internship, I conducted personal research to help me answer my research question. To gather data, I conducted semi-structured interviews with a variety of academic scholars and professionals in the community composting field. In addition to my interviews, I also conducted a literature review on community-based composting infrastructure. Now, let's get into my results. Starting with barriers, the first of the three main areas of difficulty that were identified is sociocultural norms of waste disposal. This challenge has to do with people's behavioral instinct to throw food waste in the trash and the difficulty of getting people to change that behavior when implementing a community compost program. Next is time commitment to project responsibilities. Developing a community-based program presents many time-consuming responsibilities, creating a barrier to implementation. The third key barrier identified was communication between stakeholders. Communication delays between program developers and stakeholders, such as local nonprofit organizations or government agencies, often cause project timeline delays. Next, we have the three key benefits of implementing community compost programs, the first of which is educational opportunities. Implementing community compost programs provide the opportunity to educate community members on both food waste diversion practices and composting methods. Next is community engagement. Community-based programs give community members a shared interest, which can strengthen both overall inter-community engagement and engagement with the compost program itself. The third key benefit identified was environmental welfare. As previously discussed, diverting food waste from landfills aids in decreasing greenhouse gas emissions, as well as creating an eco-friendly alternative to chemical-based fertilizers. So, what should we take away from these results? The identification of these key barriers helps to prepare communities for challenges during development and implementation stages, while the identification of key benefits can incentivize communities to invest in community compost infrastructure. In order to achieve and localize these benefits, the barriers should be addressed using professional guidance and advice. The advice provided by interviewees from my research fit into four main areas of focus, which are all detailed in Figure 3. The first area of focus was program design, and one piece of advice in this area was to do an opt-in program first because contamination is much lower. The second area of focus was advertising and outreach, and some advice received in this category was to get the word out through Nextdoor, the city's social media pages, printed publications, any way possible. The third area of focus was stakeholder communication, and one interviewee stressed to get relevant stakeholders involved and create clear channels of communication. The last area of focus was workload distribution, with advice such as getting a good work plan spread out over a group of people. How do these findings apply to broader contexts? This research can directly inform the development of future compost programs by identifying possible barriers and providing strategies to overcome them. By informing and guiding the development of future programs, more communities can receive access to community-based composting services and gain from the many socioeconomic and environmental benefits. And of course, to circle back to the overall goal of food waste diversion practices, expanding U.S. compost infrastructure through the development of more community composting programs can aid in diverting more food waste from landfills and to help mitigate the effects of climate change. I'd like to give a quick thanks to my faculty advisor, Eli Wheat, as well as my site supervisor, Leah Nicholson. Thank you to my cohort friends for your invaluable advice and support this past year. And lastly, a big thank you to my family and friends for supporting me through my college and my capstone experience with endless encouragement and love.